I'm Mike Otto. This is Rainmaker Podcast, where we cover everything from real estate to business to marketing.
Good morning. So this morning, a buddy of mine sent me a TikTok on an agent who was holding an open house, and this gal was amazing, man. She was like all over it. She really had it all dialed in. I mean, she was awesome, and she was a hard worker. And it got me thinking about, all of the agents who are hard workers out there, who have a desire to really like serve at a high level, to do their best possible job, who work their butts off, but work their butts off in the wrong way. And what I mean by that is they don't work in the highest leverage dollar productive activity that they could. When you're first starting out and you don't know that open houses are not the most efficient way for you to generate leads or even sell a listing, you do those things, right? And so she was talking about, I'm going to go door knock on the neighbors' houses to get them to come through here too. The next day she said, I'm going to spend the day doing a bunch of follow-ups. For me, if I could help her, if she was my sister, right? I would have had her spending the day doing follow-ups with leads that she had already attracted if she didn't have anybody to go work with and sell a house to that day, right? So that the next day, she would be that far ahead. And if you think about the essence and the goal of an open house, it's really twofold. One, to generate leads for you as an agent. Two, to pacify your seller, right? The stats on people who come look at an open house and actually buy it are glaringly obvious that it is not an efficient way to get a home sold. So it's very self-serving for us as agents. If we're going to self-serve, let's do it in a way that we can actually make money. And what I mean by that is, again, focusing on the highest dollar productive activities that you can do. When I have a new agent, somebody comes to me for advice and they're like, hey, what should I do? I'm like, oh, your job's simple, right? You either have somebody that you can put in your car that is, qualified, willing to work with you exclusively, to go show homes to, or if that is not an option, your only job is to tee that up for the next day. And really, it does boil down to that simple of a mentality. Now, once you grow out of that, right, and you become more of a listing agent, then it's the same job. It's just reversed, right? Or it's just you're working with the seller instead. Your job is to go out and talk to a seller that is going to sell their home and get them to list with you. And if you don't have someone that you can talk to today, then that's your primary focus. Getting someone that you can talk to today so that you can get an appointment for tomorrow, and, measuring those things. And so how do you talk to someone today to get them to get in your car, to go look at homes, to buy one? How do you talk to someone today to get them to allow you to give them a listing presentation so that you can sign them up to a listing? That's the real key. That's the question. And that's the part that isn't very easily solved for most agents, because there's so much conflicting information out there, right? Like, oh, you should do an open house. Oh, come on, shadow me as a new agent and I'll show you how to do this business. Well, you're only going to rise to the level of the person that you're shadowing. And that's just the truth of the matter. Doesn't mean that they're a bad person. Doesn't mean that you're a bad person. Everybody starts somewhere. But the faster you can start to study and model people who are at much higher levels, it's kind of like, reaching for the stars and catching the moon on the way down. And the more of that you can do, even like listening to this podcast, the faster you're going to be able to excel in your career. You're going to be able to collapse time. You're going to be able to just, hit milestones that you thought would take years in a fraction of the time. And it really begins with your understanding of how to attract customers. And so, I'll do another episode on how to attract customers. I could talk about that for years on end. But essentially, you want to have systems in place that are measurable, right? That are controllable, that bring you these customers on a regular basis, that you can take those numbers to the bank. You know that they're going to consistently produce X amount of buyer opportunities, X amount of listing opportunities. And with that, you know how many of those you're actually going to be able to get a hold of, how many you're going to meet with, out of the people you meet with, how many of them are going to be becoming your client, and out of the people who become your client, how many of those are going to turn into commissions. So that you've got a formula, right? So you've got mathematics certainty in your business, so you never have to guess where your next deal is coming from. And obviously, the next level after that is once you've got more business and you can comfortably handle, it's multiplying yourself through others and building yourself a great team and helping to install that system for somebody else. And I'll tell you what, the amount of satisfaction that you get out of that is higher than the amount of money, because you're changing somebody's life and you're making an impact, and you're experiencing contribution in the world, and you're doing it in a good way. So that's what I got for you today. Hopefully I added value to your day. Go out there, kick some butt, make it a great day. Catch you on the next one.